Hello, my name is Cole and welcome to Only Fails. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.
Before we get started, I just want to start off with this disclaimer that the material discussed in this video is not investment advice and is for entertainment purposes only. Now that is out of the way, what has been your experience with failure?
My personal experience with failure is that I've lost a lot of money in the stock market in the last few years and continued and I learned a lot from it, but in the end I definitely failed.
How'd you fail? Like what happened there?
Well, I kept losing money and I'd have good days and it just never worked out in the end, I guess, but I haven't fully given up, but over the years racked up a lot of losses, so.
How much money have you lost?
Over 70 grand.
Over what time period?
It's been in the last a little over 4 years.
So 70,000 over 4 years.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the capital from to do that?
Well, when I was in high school, I started buying and selling on eBay when I was 12 years old and saved up some money. And I used that right when I got to college. And then the rest of it was just when I continued to work, and I kept selling online when I got to college. But then I took control of another company and kept getting more capital, I guess, to put in, and I just kept losing more and more. So continued to go on.
Did you feel like you were trying to chase it?
Yes, I definitely was trying to chase it.
So like a double down gambler situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So were you day trading or was this meme stocks? What was this?
I did do some day trading, did do some meme stocks. Like 2020, I think was the meme stocks when that started. And then, yeah, I mean, I did all types of trading. I did common stock, bought the common stock and got into options trading. That's where I ended up losing most of it. But,
so you got smoked in options?
Yes.
Wow. What exactly is options?
Options trading is when you're going to bet that a stock will hit a certain price by a certain date, basically. And options values will change. If it goes above that price, they just keep increasing, or if it goes the opposite way, it just keeps getting lower and lower.
So were you ever forced to buy stocks that were much lower than you agreed to buy them for?
No, I never exercised my options, just played with the contracts themselves.
So you bought and sold those contracts?
Yes.
The right to buy or push the stock onto someone else?
Yeah, that's correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned eBay. So how was that? How'd you get into it? What did you sell? How were the profits? What was that all about?
Oh yeah, when I first started selling on eBay, I had about $300 and I spent it all on video games. Got a huge lot of video games, probably about 300 of them. Then sold those in individuals or bundles, stuff like that, and profits were pretty well. I'd say off that initial investment, made over $1,000 in profit from the 300, so it was pretty well. And yeah, I did video games for years and got into clothes, cell phones, shoes, a whole bunch of different stuff. Video games honestly were probably the easiest, but also the most time consuming, just because you'd have to go through them all and clean them, test them, stuff like that. But yeah, did that throughout high school and made a lot of the money just from buying and selling random things. Sometimes it didn't fit into those categories, just whatever I knew I could make a profit on.
Did you ever have video games not work?
Yeah, but that was pretty rare.
But these were cartridge games, correct? Or were they discs?
Discs.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of Xbox and PlayStation games, pretty much. So yeah, they were always disc, I'd say.
They probably always worked then.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, they almost always worked. So
out of all those things, was video games the most lucrative? Out of because you mentioned clothes.
Yeah, clothes definitely sucked. Phones were nice because I always knew what they were worth, and new ones would come out. The old ones would change values and stuff like that, but I always knew if I could find this one at this price, I could make a decent profit quickly.
Did you ever get stuck with a lot of inventory you couldn't sell?
Not as often as you think. I was constantly reposting things on multiple platforms. I eventually moved on to more stuff than just eBay, so stuff wasn't selling good in one place, I could move it to a different platform that would work better. And yeah, I'd honestly move stuff pretty well. So that wasn't always too much of a problem.
And so from eBay, that's where you got your 70,000 that you lost. Well,
Most of it, yeah.
yeah.
Some of the other was just from personal working when I started selling on Etsy. So,
How do you like that platform?
I do like it. It's the lowest fees that I've ever had on any platform, so it's nice. But that's a whole different. I make handmade stuff. So,
What do you make?
well, now I have two separate companies. One of them I do vinyl decals, like for your walls, doors, cars, stuff like that. Then the other one I print designs onto pillow covers.
Nice.
Yeah.
What drew you to that? That's kind of unusual.
My mom started both of those.
Okay.
And so
She just said, "Hey, I want to do pillow covers."
yeah, well, she did the vinyl one first when I was younger, and she owned a store, a physical store where she sold home decor, and then she started selling the vinyl in the store and then opened an Etsy store and was doing better on Etsy. So she closed that store and all the home decor. She quit that and then started working at home selling the vinyl decals. And I helped her with those at a really young age, probably 7 or 8 when I started. Helped her a ton growing up. And then, yeah, I eventually took that over, I think when I was 19, and then took over the pillow one when I was 22.
How many pillowcases do you think you're shipping out a year? Do you have any idea?
Probably 7, 8 thousand.
And that's a lot for starters. And you make these by hand, each one?
The pillow covers I have shipped from China, so they're pretty cheap. And then
But you don't physically print them.
I have a printer that prints the designs,
Okay.
and then I have a heat press that I heat press the designs.
So you basically get blanks,
yes,
and then you take the heat press and the design, and these are all custom. All 8,000 are custom, or are they repeats?
some of both. Most are repeats, some are custom orders, but
That's
yeah.
pretty intense, man. That's a big commitment. 8,000. I mean, if you divide that by 365,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you're
no.
hustling.
I've had days where I've done hundreds of pillow covers and
Yeah.
spent a lot of hours doing it, but it's worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. How long do you think you're going to do that for?
Probably a while. I'm gonna continue to do it. I plan on upping my output, I guess. It does well now, but this is my not as busy time of the year, so I prefer to stay as busy as I can year round and yeah, just crank up those numbers, I guess.
Are you worried about competition?
No,
None.
honestly not. I've looked into it and not many people do that.
So you got a niche that's basically undiscovered, but yet there's enough demand to support a business.
Yeah,
That's pretty sweet.
yeah.
That's a good spot to be in. Going back to stocks, what do you think your total, because you lost 70K, right?
Mhm.
What do you think your total investment into stocks was?
Well, probably about that same amount.
So you basically got wiped out.
Yes,
You just got wiped out. Every dollar in, it was a dollar lost.
yes, yeah.
That's insane.
I rarely pulled out. Probably did a couple times, pulled out $1,000 or $2,000 for stuff, but that was not very often.
What do you think was your maximum, value of your account at its highest peak? Because you had to be up at some point.
Yes, the maximum it was at was a little under 50 grand. It was up to around 45, I think.
So you just lost and lost and lost, and then you got it up to 40 or 50, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
I lost some more.
What was your best stock?
It's called Naked Brand. It was a lingerie company that ended up being a meme stock for a little bit.
How'd that go?
It went good. I sold for a little over 1,000% gain. It went over 2,000% gain from when I bought in, but I didn't hold to the very top. But
What ended up happening to that stock? If you'd held it to today, what would it be?
I have not checked, but probably close to nothing.
Close to nothing.
Yeah, it was a business I think on the verge of bankruptcy, but it's why it was one of those that turned into a meme stock. I think people just liked the idea of it. They thought, oh, it would be funny if we ran this one up, and they did.
How'd you find out about it?
Social media, probably through Twitter.
Okay.
Got
Was that where you were getting a lot of investment ideas from, was Twitter?
Yes, yeah. still is where I am still. I don't have as much money in today, but I
Right.
still am looking on there all the time and see stuff about it all the time, and constantly I'm still learning.
Being that you got so burned in options, are you interested in continuing to play in that field?
Probably not good, but yes, I am.
Really?
Yes,
You want more.
yes.
You want more losses.
I want more gains, but yeah, I mean,
You're ready to be punished, man. You're just like, hit me again.
yeah.
This is the worst.
Yeah.
Jeez. When you were doing all this, did your family and friends know?
Uh, yes, they did. They didn't know as I would say my family didn't know about the downsides, but yeah, friends did. But
So your friends knew you were losing.
uh, yeah, they knew I was gaining and losing while it was happening, I guess. So
What did they say to you?
I mean, most of them didn't know much about it, so there were some I convinced to put money into things, and sometimes it ended good, and sometimes it did not.
Yeah.
So,
How about your parents? What do they think?
I actually got them into investing, and they never did it before, but they still do it now.
But
And
not options, right?
uh, no, unless they're really far outdated and safer.
Yeah.
You can still play options safely, but somewhat safely, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, no, they were very skeptical about it from the beginning and didn't love the idea. But then I slowly got them into it more and more, and they still do it today. But I think are way more safer than I was about it. So
So nobody really beat you up about it as far as like gave you a really hard time.
no, not
If your
anybody but
parents, if
myself.
your parents knew right now the magnitude of your losses,
Mhm.
what would be the reaction?
They wouldn't be the happiest because
Yeah.
they know I have worked hard for a lot of things, and they just wouldn't love to see that it didn't all work out in the end. But
Yeah, you put a lot of effort into it, and
mhm.
that effort basically just disappeared.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's rough, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard. Um, so you still are investing. You haven't given up.
No, I haven't. I think I've changed my approach somewhat to be a little more safe, and I do know I have a lot of the right information out there and people to follow, some great people that I follow, but sometimes I just get stuck up in what could be, and I gamble a little more than I should into things.
Did
And
you ever think that maybe you should just become old and boring and just get like a Vanguard mutual fund and just be like, I'll just play the whole market as a whole. I don't care about grand slams. I just want to get singles and bunts
yeah,
basically.
yeah, no, I've definitely considered the idea. I think that I have learned a lot because I've done this for like 5 years and learned a lot through the whole thing.
That's basically a bachelor's degree in options trading.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, pretty
really,
much.
it is.
But I do know that there's, I don't know, I think about inflation and stuff like that. And sometimes those still aren't beating inflation. So I'm trying to find the safest ways to still multiply my money in terms of the value of the US dollar and still while minimizing my risk at the same time.
So you're worried about inflation.
Uh, to some extent.
Going back to your pillow business, has inflation affected your pillow business at all?
Um,
Are you paying more for blanks? Has your material cost risen? And then have you been able to pass those costs on to your customers?
I would say close to none. My blanks, no, the price hasn't increased.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Well, from the start to the finish, basically, all this time, they've never raised prices on you.
no. It's all my price. I get
Yeah.
my pillows pretty cheap, and I don't know much about China's economy and their market and stuff, but it's always landed costs, shipping's included in my costs and everything, and those have stayed pretty low. But it's more my side materials, I guess, like my ink or my sheets that I use to print my designs on have slightly increased over the years, or my vinyl prices have gone up too.
Have you been able to raise prices on customers or have you stayed steady as well?
I've stayed steady, but I think I could raise prices and it wouldn't change too much. A lot of the customers seemed like devoted customers, so
So you have a lot of repeat business.
yes, tons of repeat business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they like your quality. They like what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do have a lot of repeat customers and still tons of new ones all the time. But yeah, I'd say overall the customer base is pretty well, works pretty well for it. So,
That's good. Why do you think meme stocks took off?
um,
Was it Twitter? Was it Elon Musk? What was it?
I think it was a whole mix of things, but say it definitely started through Reddit. I'm not the biggest Reddit user myself, which is why unfortunately I didn't find GameStop while it happened. But I think the small guys just got tired of the big guys winning, and they found out a way that they could beat the system that's never been done before.
Yeah.
And they all came together and tried to take down the big guys, and it did work in some ways. So
You weren't in GameStop, but you were at AMC, right?
yeah, that's correct.
How did AMC turn out for you?
It turned out good and bad, I would say. I was up a lot at one point, and then I had too much belief in it that it would turn into another GameStop. And yeah, I eventually, I think, ended up down on AMC.
So you have to fight your internal greed, basically.
Yes.
Like you want more, but then you have to realize at a certain point you got to take it off the table.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because those gains aren't actual realized until you make the sale.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get that money, it doesn't. It's just paper.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
no,
numbers.
sometimes I would make the sale, but then I just throw it right back in or buy a more outdated option and, stuff like that.
Have you seen the movie Dumb Money?
I have, yeah. I watched
How-
that recently.
How real does that movie feel to you? Does it feel pretty authentic? I mean, could you see yourself in that movie?
It did at some points, yes. The only difference is he ended up winning. He came out ahead, and I didn't. So,
But a lot of people in that movie did lose.
yeah,
They rode it all the way up Diamond Hands, right? And then they crashed on Burned.
yeah.
So they were like super high up, like I mean their accounts were phenomenally large,
Mm-hmm.
and they rode it all the way back down.
Yeah, there were plenty of examples in that movie. Some did really well, and some didn't.
It's all about getting out.
Yeah.
It's all about getting out. Now what? What do you want to do the rest of your life? You got pillows.
Yeah.
It sounds like pillows are amazing.
Yeah. Pillows are doing good. I want to keep growing that. Maybe start a TikTok business for it. I'm not personally a TikTok user, but I might have to learn just because I've seen
I think they're banning TikTok. I think they're trying to ban TikTok.
Yeah,
You might only have 8 months on TikTok before the whole thing blows up on you.
I'm not the biggest TikTok fan myself, but for that reason, I'm hoping that it doesn't get banned.
Yeah.
I have researched a lot into that, and yeah, we got about 9 months left. And
You think TikTok could actually blow your business up?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the thing that surprised me about my business is I sell just the pillow cover alone, and everyone else has to buy their own insert.
Yeah.
And if it were me, I'm like, I would not want to do that, but all the moms love it, so.
So you just sell the pillowcase. You don't sell the actual pillow.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that also saves you a ton on shipping
Yeah,
and makes delivery way easier.
yeah,
That's genius. Plus, everybody has their own pillow like type. Some people like heavy pillows, some like soft. There's all these different kinds of different pillows people like.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you'd want to really order a pillow from a pillow company where there's a design on it, but you're stuck with the padding and the fit and the feel.
Oh, yeah.
And you have no option there.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're smart. That's a smart business. Your mom set you up right.
Yeah,
She puts you in a
did.
good direction. She puts you
Yeah.
in a good direction. She puts you onto some good stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's nice because then repeat customers can just switch out their pillow covers with the different inserts for the holidays, and they only have to have a couple inserts, but could order 10 pillow covers if they wanted to. So
That's really smart.
yeah,
That's good for you and the customer.
yeah, it honestly is.
Yeah, it's a win-win for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Telling your story takes courage and bravery, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
Yeah.